Greetings, salutations, and what is up, friends? Welcome inside to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here. The LCK Week 6 is underway, and pretty much across the board this week, every single day has at least one good matchup, which is exciting.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot of people dread Mondays coming around. You got to go back to work. They stink. No one likes it. But I tell you what, this Monday that just passed, it was worth it because at the end of the day, you went home and you knew you got to watch some really great LCK matches coming up.
I assume everyone does stay up until 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to check out all the LCK games. But Week 6 kicked off with some bangers. You had the rookies versus the champs. Griffin taking on Kingzone, and if you remember earlier in the summer split, Griffin completely destroyed Kingzone in a clean 2-0. The champs looking for a little bit of revenge against the rookies in this one, but Kingzone has looked a little bit questionable as of late. And Yasuo versus Orianna, that's a throwback mid-lane matchup.
Yeah, that's that. Chovy going pretty safe here with the Orianna. That's another good sign that, you know, the changes that we made in the earlier parts of the split to get, you know, game times down, they've kind of gone a little bit higher up now that you're seeing an Orianna get there, really hitting those power spikes at kind of the third item there to get into those team fights.
That's Khan completely eating in that top lane against Sword, getting a little bit of revenge. You remember before he said he's got to wash his neck because he's going to completely destroy him. That didn't happen. He gets the solo kill there, but here he's getting caught out, and extended team fights, you know, usually are going to go in the favor of Griffin. BDD grabs the kill, but
you can't get out of that one there, Yasuo.
Yeah, the stopwatch, I mean, Orianna just hits the ball there. She didn't even really use it. She just autoed him instead. Kingzone did get the jump on a Baron at one point. Obviously, some great zoning by Gorilla. Tarzan on the jungle. Talia, no chance to seal it. Khan, nom-nom-noms that one. So, Baron for Kingzone, and everybody, I mean everybody, flashes out of the Baron pit to survive. Gorilla, that's a heroic support play.
That's what you got to do if you're a support there, but he was doing his job excellent there around the Baron, zoning off. That's what you want that Alistar to be doing at that point in time.
And then it switches, and it's Griffin who's zoning Kingzone away from the Baron. They secure it, and they're going to clean up. They lose a couple of guys. By the way, I didn't mention Prey on the Swain in this one. We've been seeing him mostly on AD carries this split, so a little bit of a surprise to see him on that mage in the Wizard bot lane. But Griffin would clean up that kill, get some Barons, an Elder Dragon as well, and they closed it out pretty routinely aside from that Baron that they gave up.
Yeah, that was the play that you were looking at that maybe was the only one that really went towards Kingzone. Was kind of proactive move by them here. You need to see more of it in their games, and if they're gonna have any chance here against Griffin, they have to be there.
Yeah, and then you see in game 2, Prey back on the Swain, Chovy still on Orianna, Vel'Koz for BDD, and you know, Viper looks a lot more comfortable on traditional AD carries. This one, not many kills in this one. First Blood already took a little while, and Lahans was putting in work on the Pike. Little bit of a disrespect there by BDD, not just flashing the Orianna ultimate.
Absolutely disrespect there, because you have to know that that is going to be coming there, and it has to be exactly the play that you would be doing there if you're the Orianna, so just simply carelessness there.
And Jace for Khan, by the way. 12-0 in 2018 on the champion coming into this game, and Tarzan says, let's camp him. Peanut subbed in for Cuz, by the way, in game 2, and he was invisible, and he wasn't playing Evelynn.
I was gonna say, I thought they just subbed Cuz out for nobody, because I haven't seen Peanut once in this, and it's what you have to be doing as a jungler. You have to find your way to impact the map, and if you have your Jace in the top lane, getting camped, you either need to be there to help out, or you know what? Go create an advantage somewhere else. Peanut didn't do either of them.
This was just a slow, starving, strangling game by Griffin. It was 4 kills to 0 at 15 minutes. We didn't get these kills until after 40 minutes, but they were just controlling the entire map, doing exactly what Kingzone was known for doing to other LCK teams over the last couple of splits. But Griffin 2-0 Kingzone yet again. Now they go 2-0 against them on the season, and really hadn't been close. None of those games were close. Griffin, Kingzone, to wrap it up.
That game 2 was a complete dumpstering. by Griffin. And like, I mean, I say dumpstering here, and you're like, oh, it's only 8-0. That's not dumpstering here. They're not going
Kingzone
crazy.
had no chance.
No. When you're watching this one, there was nothing. You're watching this, and you're like, is Kingzone even plugged into this game right now? Because everything going on in the map was for Griffin. It was slow, it was cold, it was calculated. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they were able to execute it on the map perfectly. When you're watching Griffin, we're seeing them have issues against KT Rolster, but you're seeing them against Kingzone here and just reversing the script and just flopping on them.
Yeah, and KT has had issues against Kingzone, as had the rest of the LCK over the last couple of splits, which is why Griffin's dominance against Kingzone is totally unprecedented. We've never seen a team completely dominate this roster that was Longzhu and Kingzone. But in these 4 games in 2018 summer, Griffin has put up some absolutely disgusting numbers in those matchups. They just weren't close in any of them. It's been so one-sided in the favor of Griffin that it's disgusting, Mark. That's all I can say. Look at 60-13 in kills.
Oh my god. Look at the turrets. 37-8. What is going on here? This is insanity. This is a level of map control and just pure domination that I don't know if we've ever really seen in a matchup that should be as close as this one would most people would expect.
We thought Griffin coming into this split could fight for a final playoff spot, but the way they've dismantled the likes of Kingzone and a lot of the top tier teams in the LCK is definitely above and beyond the expectations we had for this team. And really, over the last couple of splits, we have never seen a team put such a dominant effort and destroy Kingzone or Longzhu, because they're the back-to-back LCK champs. So absolutely insane, the fight that Griffin's putting up so far.
One of my favorite things about this is looking through the Reddit comments after the match and seeing someone go, you know what, I haven't really been paying attention to the LCK this year. Who are these guys? I don't no idea who they are, yet they're bringing out some of the best play I've ever seen. It is truly a thing to watch, and I think that this is, you know, a really special story in the summer split.
Yeah, for me, it's the most compelling across probably all the competitive regions right now is 5 rookies to just come in and completely take over the scene. They're still sitting at the top of the standings at 10-3 after, well, the first games of Week 6. I'm excited to see these guys in playoffs because they're pretty much a lock to at least be getting there. They still got a long road if they want to get to Worlds, but we'll be following them every step of the way.
Hey, if Kingzone falls all the way down to 4th, something like that, and KT finishes 2nd, it looks like Kingzone is going to have to go into the gauntlet to get into Worlds in the first place, and that can help out and get this squad, Griffin, into the Worlds on their spot.
And that just gives SKT a chance to beat Kingzone in the gauntlet. It'd be insane if Kingzone didn't make it to Worlds here in 2018. Coming up after the break, we're talking about KT. Well, they had a match today as well against Gen.G in a battle at the top of the standings. Let's hop on the KT roller coaster. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to League Unlocked. Eric and Mark here. Griffin, the underdog story lasted about 1 week. They were underdogs, and then they started dumpstering everyone, so they take down Kingzone yet again. 4-0. Kingzone has some issues of their own. A couple of teams that haven't really had issues lately are KT and Gen.G, who were the second matchup on Tuesday. Both teams looking like really solid. They make up the top 3 right now with Griffin, of course. Yeah,
it was a pretty good treat to watch Griffin take on Kingzone, even though Kingzone was doing their best TSM cosplay impression in that matchup.
AFK,
Now this time though, we get to watch the real treat. Gen.G and KT Rolster. These are the teams that I want to be watching, specifically KT Rolster. I think right now when KT Rolster are on, they are probably the best team in the LCK.
The scary thing is, a lot of the times they aren't on because you see them losing to teams that they should beat. Gen.G, a team that basically a toss-up, but both these guys vying for that second place right behind Griffin. And game 1, you had traditional AD carries in the bottom lane. Jace and Gangplank in the top lane matchup. That's a doozy. Ooh. And Ambition got the start in this game, and there weren't that many kills early on, but then you've got an explosive one, where else, around the Baron Pit.
Always going to have these big fights going around here, and this is exactly what KT Rolster wanted, because Gen.G thought that they had the jump here, thought that they had this one going their way with that Sejuani ultimate, but the Tahm Kench just comes in, gobbles him up right away, and the fight turns back around for KT.
And, you know, That's UCal on the Galio. I mean, Galio's been a pick more so in the LCK than any other region because they utilize that ultimate so well. And some of these fights still, it looked like KT were not looking good, but Deft on the Xayah, positioning on point, cleans up a couple of kills here, but the team fights were really back and forth. UCal, I mean, a lot of stopwatches that you're screwed, man. It's 1v4. Ruler picks up the kill. But some questionable engages by score in this game. A couple of whiffed Sejuani ultimates, but we'll forgive him because he's had a fantastic split. He goes down to the True Shot Barrage from Ruler, but a lot of explosive team fights, long and extended, and we've seen that KT can actually thrive in these fights, and here's Mata on Rakan, absolutely setting up a game-winning fight.
And this is where I want to talk about the damage coming out from Deft's Xayah here. This Xayah pick is one that, Xayah's win rate actually in solo queue has been kind of hovering below 50% for a little while now. She hasn't quite synergized as well as you might have liked with some of these items that some other champions have, but she still can have that power, especially combined with the Rakan. And in the skilled hands of Deft, able to dish out enough damage in these team fights and stay safe is the important thing here as a marksman nowadays, and he absolutely nailed it in this matchup. Yeah,
bot lane getting it done for KT in game one. One game-winning team fight off the Rakan ulti, and they take the victory. Game two, Kai'Sa for Deft. Haven't seen him pick up that champion that much, but KT score on the rest of the team, clearly putting an emphasis on him in that bot lane. They lock up first blood. They want to get that Kai'Sa rolling.
Yeah, and even Score there doing his Bethic Smithy expression there, missing that Sejuani.
He flashed it. I'll give him a break. He flashed that one. So.
Yeah, he still lives there on that one, but I think that the Sejuani performance in the last game certainly was lacking, but I think if you'll see in this one, definitely a better one for Score.
Yeah, and a 3-0 start for Deft. He had some aggressive ultis in on the Kai'Sa, which you love to see. Exchanges the 1v1 with Ruler, and Ruler has been the best performing AD carry in Korea to date in summer. But in this series, especially in this game, he was getting outperformed by Deft. I know he's picking up some kills here, but he had some questionable positioning errors. There's another whiff Sejuani ult, but he locks the Baron with the smite. That's all that matters.
That's exactly like Smithy right there. You missed the ult, but you locked down the Baron. That's A-okay.
Yeah, is Baron much more important than landing a little bit of CC. Ambition could not find the ultis on the Skarner, picking up Score, who again whiffs another Sejuani ult. Yeah. But Deft goes in 1v4. Team's there to back him up, doesn't matter. They're going to eventually pick up Cuvée, who is probably the only player who's playing Swain top these days.
Yeah, not the best place for Swain to be right now with some of the other options and kind of itemizations that you can be picking in the top lane. And what else is going on with the junglers? I don't really like Swain up there. I think he's better off in mid and bot than he would be up top. But interesting call there. But hey, KT Rolster, lay down the beat down and take the victory.
All aboard the KT hype train. They 2-0 GenG in pretty convincing fashion. The first game was a little bit back and forth, a lot of team fights going either way, but game two was very much in the control of KT, and they looked fantastic across the board in both those games. I'm getting hyped, Mark. Tell me not to.
I know.
Tell me not to.
This is the scariest thing right now is because watching KT Rolster, I'm getting excited.
Careful.
And that's the scary thing. And I'm not gonna put the curse on them. I'm not gonna say that I'm getting excited about KT Rolster. I'm just gonna say I get excited watching their matches because their performance has been what you want to be watching when you're thinking of LCK action. Clean dominance from them. I know that maybe the first 20-25 minutes of this matchup looked a little bit more like a NA Clown Fiesta for a little bit, but eventually the LCK talent shines through and we see some of this clean League of Legends action that we want to be playing, and especially, again, I gotta bring it up, Deft, doing what you can do there on marksmans nowadays and what's going on with the metas. We still know that marksmen aren't completely out of the meta, but they do struggle sometimes into these matchups, and he really did thrive today playing these marksmen.
Yeah, and Deft is a guy who said, I went down to Masters in solo queue. I've never done that in so many years. Well, clearly it worked in this set because, yeah, he played two traditional ADs in Xayah and Kai'Sa and put up some disgusting numbers. He didn't die, so technically the KDA is infinite, but we'll give him 20, to kind of round up, down, I don't know. You're rounding up or down.
This is what I got to tell Teddy on Jin Air and stuff like that. I got to say, Teddy, you got to drop down to Masters, buddy. Once you drop down to Masters, that's when your team starts to figure it out and starts to do well here. KT Rolster with Deft and Masters. Man, this is the scariest Masters player that I've ever seen.
Yeah, don't want to run into him in solo queue. Obviously, the games were a little bit longer, so his DPM is very high because he actually got 3, 4, 5 items on those 80 carries, which is when you get absolutely disgusting. But listen, a lot of people still complaining about this bot lane. You can't play 80 carries. I'm sorry, can't play 80 carries.
And
all the guys in the LCK are playing it.
And the even better thing here is that Deft of all people has looked like the ADC that's had the best adjustment to playing mages and bruisers in the bot lane. His performances on the likes of the Swain, on the things like Mordekaiser have been fantastic. But then you bring in the marksman type of performance that he has today, looks like a complete package moving forward for KT Rolster.
Yeah, and he seems to be the only one who likes playing Mordekaiser, so he can really make it all work. Great start to the LCK for Week 6. Quick preview ahead to all of them. SKT is playing BBQ and Jin Air this week. If they don't 2-0, they're dead.
Yeah, you need to have these victories if you're SKT. Now, the only question is, Eric and I are thinking, are we going to be seeing SKT period in the mid lane? It's a big question right now. People are saying, Faker was the problem. No. You're wrong, buddy. Faker is obviously not the problem here. He has been a little bit inconsistent, maybe pushing himself a little bit too far to try and create some advantages for SKT, because he's the only guy really making any of these advantages for SKT when you're looking at the rest of their performance there. Yes, Bang has been pretty steady throughout the bot lane. His positioning has definitely improved since the 2017 Worlds Finals, and I've been impressed with that. And I think that when you're looking at this SKT roster, the real questions are whether is top and jungle going to show up and be stable enough to provide some advantages for this team and help them get to these victories.
I mean, they did win with Period. So maybe he is the answer. But with an easier schedule this week, and teams like Afrika faltering, they're only at 7-6, 2 games or a game and a half ahead of SKT, you know? There's still hope for them to get into playoffs.
It's the perfect time for Koma to break out that belt, start cracking it up a little bit, and get these players ready to push on for the playoffs.
I think his belt might be broken by now. He used it a little too much this season.